In the previous videos, we covered frameworks. And today we're going to dive deeper into frameworks and specifically how to overcome fear as one of the biggest preventers or blocks that one faces when talking or creating content or doing video marketing even. So, as one of our former presidents once said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Well, the problem with that is that fear is real. Now, you can imagine it as it not being real, but when you get up there in front of 200 or 300 or even a camera and you start talking, the fear is real. So why am I telling you this? Well, several years ago, when I created these frameworks for myself, I realized that it created a psychological principle, what I like to call in the zone. So what happens when you're in the zone? Well, when you get in the zone, it becomes automatic. You start talking, or you create video, or you don't even see the crowd. The crowd doesn't even exist for you. And so when you create this, you can apply it much, much faster. Now, with that being said, the same thing applies in sales. Now, one of you have asked me, or many of you actually have asked me about the fundamentals of sales. I think sales and confidence go hand in hand. And this is where frameworks really come into play. So let's talk a little bit about the SPIN framework. So as I mentioned in the previous video, we have SPIN. So what is SPIN? SPIN is a series of questions that you ask your client or you ask someone to get to really understand their problem and see if what solution you have. Now, the key is before you offer your solution, you have to listen to them and understand the pain and the problem that they're going through. So let me define SPIN. SPIN is S for situation, P for problem, I for implication, and N for need payoff. So let's start with the situation, right? Situation questions, studies have shown that salespeople who ask situation questions can do well in small sales. But in more complex sales, when it's bigger deals, when it's more complex problems, situation questions actually reduce the chances of a successful sales. Now, I have to say, before we get even further into that, one thing I want to say about sales, just in general, just a mindset of sales, is that when done correctly, when done with ethics and morals, it's a conversation. It's not a pitch. It's not a hard close. And same thing with your marketing. Same thing with the video content that you produce. It should always add value to the person, and the person through a professional sales experience should be part of the process. So let's go back. So now we know what situation is. So what are some examples of situation questions? Well, some examples of situation questions are like, how long have you been in business? That's a situation question. Or how long have you been doing X, Y, and Z? Those are situation questions. Questions like that you should already know them before you even enter the sale. So that's a situation question. Now, problem questions. Problem questions are such questions such as, what are some of the challenges and frustrations that you're having with your business right now? Those are problem questions. The idea of a problem question is to lead to what the real problem is. So one of the frameworks in fundamentals of sales is you have a problem, you expand the problem, you implicate what the problem is going to do, and then you offer a solution based on what your client has said. So let's go back to problem questions. So what's a problem that you're facing with your business is a problem question. Those are good as an opener. So another framework that I like to use in sales is every sale has an opening, a beginning, a middle, and a close. Think of situation and problem questions as your beginning in sales. Not you're a beginner, but you're beginning the conversation in sales. The middle is more the implication questions. So what are implication questions? Implication question is, okay, Mr. Client, what has that problem done for your business? Or what impact has that problem caused for your business? Or what has that caused you in your business? Has that impacted any other parts of your business? You see, you start with a small problem and then you expand it, because your solution then becomes much more beneficial, and that's where the need payoff questions come in. So a need payoff question, for example, if we could solve that for you, what would that be worth to you, is a need payoff. Or if we could solve that, how much time would that save you, is a need payoff question. And so as you go through this, your client is going to tell you what is their biggest challenges, their biggest problems. And so this leads me up to, some of you have asked me about automation and how you can use automation. Well, I've personally used automation in email marketing quite a lot. And it's really important to understand first, to go through this model, this framework, to really understand the problem of the business. Because in complex businesses, in bigger businesses, there are many divisions. There are many industries that they're servicing. There are many departments, and all of those departments ideally talk to one another. What you're going to learn is, if you go through this, is that that's not necessarily the case. And so you listen, you understand, and those are the frameworks you use to uncover all those benefits that you're going to present to them with a solution at the end. And next time, we'll talk more about frameworks, the fundamentals of sales, and video marketing.